So let's kick things off with a question that really every professional should be asking themselves. When it comes to leadership, are you actually in the driver's seat? In this explainer, we're going to unpack what that truly means. Wow, that quote really hits home, doesn't it? It sets the stage perfectly. You see, leadership isn't always about big speeches or bold actions. Sometimes the loudest message you can send is, well, saying nothing at all. Inaction, as we're about to see, is its own kind of action, and it has some pretty massive consequences.
Okay, to really get what we're talking about, let's dive into this kind of strange puzzle from the corporate world. It's something called the CPO's paradox.
If you look back over the last 30 years or so, the job of the Chief Procurement Officer, the CPO, has totally transformed. It used to be all about pinching pennies and cutting costs, but now it's a super strategic role, all about creating value, ensuring quality, and building these critical partnerships with suppliers. Their importance is, well, it's undeniable. And here's where things get weird. Here's the paradox. Right as their job became more essential than ever, their status in the C-suite, at the top leadership table, started to slide. Some companies even downgraded the title, taking away that prestigious officer label. So what on earth is going on here? And you see this pop up in these small but really telling ways. Like there was this new head of procurement at a huge company. All the other C-level execs got a daily car service. But him? Nope. Now, it might seem like a small thing, right? A minor perk. But it's a huge symbol. It's a sign that you're no longer at the main table. So this whole paradox, it actually leads us to a really powerful way of looking at leadership effectiveness. And this isn't just for CPOs, this is for anyone in charge. It's this idea of being in the front seat versus the back seat. On one hand, you've got your backseat leader. They're kind of passive, they've got a limited view of what's going on, they tend to react to problems as they happen, and they often just trust that their team will, figure it out. But the front seat leader, they're the total opposite. They are active, they're proactive, they have their finger on the pulse, and they use data to steer the ship properly. Just think about it like you're literally in a car. The person in the back seat can't see the dashboard, right? They don't know the speed, the fuel level, any of the warning lights. They're missing all that critical data. And with a limited view of the road ahead, they just can't see the bigger picture. Let's bring this down to earth with a real-world example we're all seeing right now, AI. When a massive disruption like that comes along and leadership says, nothing, they are sending a very clear message. It's almost like a parent who sees their kid take a tumble and doesn't react. The kid just assumes everything's fine. Your employees are looking to you for cues, and silence is a huge cue that this new important thing isn't a priority. All right, so if you're going to be that front seat leader, what do you need to be looking at? What's on your personal dashboard? Well, there are 5 crucial commitments you have to keep your eyes on constantly. Okay, number 1, value. You've got to define what it means for your organization, and then you have to track it. 2, sponsorship. And I mean real, genuine support from other execs, not just a name slapped on a PowerPoint slide. 3, resources. Do you have the right people with the right skills? And this is so important, the actual capacity to do the work. 4, data. Is it relevant? Is it flowing continuously? And finally, number 5, and this one is fascinating. So, the source asks this fantastic question. Out of all the things a leader has to juggle, what's the one that gets missed time and time again? The one area that's consistently ignored? It's your own personal risk threshold. Think about that. The reason it's so overlooked is because it's not on a spreadsheet. It's about vulnerability. You, as a leader, have to know how much risk you're willing to take on personally. If you say you're committed to a project, but deep down you're not willing to take the heat if it fails, then that commitment is basically worthless. Now, here's the thing. Being a front seat leader, it's not a solo mission. You've got to navigate what has become a very crowded and honestly a very complex executive suite. I mean, just look at this list. Seriously, 10 years ago, you might have worked with what? Half of these roles? Now we've got chief data officers, chief AI officers, chief transformation officers. And you might notice some of these acronyms are even the same. The potential for confusion, for stepping on toes, it's enormous. So to manage all that, you need a toolkit. First, define. Get crystal clear on who does what to avoid those turf wars. Second, prioritize. Figure out who you really need to connect with. Not everyone needs the same amount of your time. Next, influence.
Watch how people interact, see where the alliances are, and find your way in. And finally, and don't forget this one, celebrate wins. You have to be your own team's biggest cheerleader, showing everyone the value you bring.
All right, as we bring this all home, it really boils down to one simple, pretty personal question that you need to ask yourself. And before we get to that final question, just remember this. Because of your title, your words and your actions are amplified. Your commitments, the ones you say out loud and the ones you show through your actions or inaction, they set the course for everyone around you. And that's really the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? When your team looks to you for direction, what do they see? Did they see someone with their hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, with a clear view of the dashboard? Or did they just hear a muffled voice from the back seat, kind of hoping someone else will figure out where you're going? The choice is always yours.